Good afternoon, viewers. Welcome back to Balanced, where we talk about the importance of balancing our body, mind, spirit, and community. I'm John, and today my guests are Richard Van Treese and Connie Valenti. Welcome to Balanced. Good afternoon, viewers. Welcome back to our Balanced episodes. We are in the middle of, I guess we're in episode number 2 of 4 of our Holiday Balance series. Last week we talked about sugar intake during the holidays and keeping good balance with all that. So today we have 2 of our counselors at Samaritan who are joining our conversation, and we're going to tackle the subject of what the holidays mean for us when emotionally or mentally they're challenging, because they're not always happy, for everybody. So I want to welcome in our 2 counselors today, Connie Valenti and Richard Van Treese. Thanks for taking the time to help us with this subject today, guys.
You're welcome.
Pleasure.
So let's just jump in to acknowledge, what is it, and help us understand that makes the holidays not always so easy for everybody. It could be several things. Richard, what comes to your mind about how the holidays might be challenging for some people?
Anxiety is the number one emotion I find that people deal with during the holidays in particular. We can deal with anxiety 365, but something happens during the holidays, partly because of our expectations, and partly because of who we're relating to, and partly because of our history. Anxiety. It's often called nervous, and that's a nice other name for it. In addition to that, there are ways to cope with anxiety during the holidays, especially around family. And what I like to do is give a little acronym called GOT, G-O-T. And when I start feeling anxious, first I got to be aware of it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm getting nervous. Oh. And then what I can do about that is I can go to the G, which is an automatic response that says to myself, go slow. There's an old song from the 60s. Slow down, you're moving too fast. You got to make the morning last. That's go. That's the G.
Okay.
O, one thing at a time instead of trying to scurry around fast and trying to accomplish multitasking fast. That raises anxiety, both the G and the O. The T, however, is a nice way to take care of slowing down, one thing at a time. Talk. Don't bottle up the anxiety. Share it with somebody. Hey, I'm nervous about seeing Aunt Tillie today at our family gathering. She has a way of being able to push my buttons. I don't know how to handle that. And just saying that much often reduces the nervousness. Talk.
So being anxiety or having anxiety, being nervous, that's certainly something. Connie, what are some other things that people have to deal with during the holidays?
Well, some people have to deal with loss. The holiday might not be such a joyful time for them if they're dealing with, they have lost somebody, they've lost a relationship. In our world today, they may have lost their job. Finances might be an issue. They might have lost the community that they're used to being around. So many people are isolated. And it's just really important to take care of yourself. During that time to be able to take a step back, and instead of focusing on the loss, to be able to replace those thoughts with, what do we have to be thankful for? What is it that I do have? And I think this year especially, that's a very important thing to be able to do, is be able to take care of ourselves. And then I think another thing, along with what Richard said, is just slowing down and understanding our limits. Instead of trying to make the perfect holiday, make it your holiday. Sit down in front of the tree, enjoy it, drink a cup of coffee, take some deep breaths.
Yeah, y'all are giving some really good ideas here. I want to share a screen here with some ideas that we've all listened to from a podcast called Don't Forget to Write, an episode that was released just a week or so ago. And it was actually focused on Thanksgiving And in this podcast, Michael Head is the host of that podcast. He talked about 9 coping skills, and you see those on your screen, listeners. And so these are some ideas that he had that he personally does. And I wanted to get your thoughts, Richard and Connie, about this list that you see, what you think is good there, adding to what you've already said. Richard, what's good on this list that you think could help people?
In light of what I was saying, I think the learn to say no is real important. Don't have to just say the word no, though that's appropriate. And there's 3 ways to say no, or words to that effect. One is you can be real passive and say, no, I don't wanna. Or you can be real aggressive. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. What are you telling me what to do for?
Yeah.
Or you can do the middle route and be assertive and say, no, I don't think I want to do that. I'd rather be doing thus and so.
Mm-hmm.
There. And that will reduce anxiety, because if you say yes when you mean no, you're going to get more anxious.
Yeah, definitely. Connie, what stands out to you on this list?
I'm a big one on write it down. And I think that goes a lot of what with what I had mentioned about feeling lonely, missing people. It may be just missing the traditions that we normally have because we can't have them this year. So writing it down goes along. You can put the worship music on, you can do the deep breathing, light a candle, say a prayer, and then you might write down gratitude. You might make a gratitude list. You might write your prayer down. You might write your memories down. And it's just a good way to get those thoughts and those feelings out, getting them down on paper. And a lot of times when we start writing, they might start as a negative and they end up with a positive, just as we get them down.
So there's a list, and listeners, certainly feel free to rewind and go back and look at that list, some more. And both Richard and Connie, you've already given us some other good thoughts about other things to do, slowing down. I hadn't even thought of that, how important that could be. And it feels like, as I think about that for a moment, that's good for our body and our mind, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That deep breathing, taking the time, on our watches now, it tells us you can set it how many times a day for a minute to just slow down, just stop what you're doing, breathe. It's re-energizing. It definitely reduces the anxiety. It reduces the stress that we carry in our body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if you're a spiritual person, it's going to be real easy to recall some scripture, especially be still.
Be still. That's what I was thinking, Richard. Be still.
And know that I am God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yep. Well, I'm not surprised.
Me either. Well, thanks, Connie and Richard, for helping us with this topic today. It really is helpful, honestly, for all of us to think about when we are getting worked up for whatever reason during the holidays. And this is all really helpful to us. Viewers, thanks again for tuning in for our balanced episodes. We'll be back next week. Our guest next week is Pastor Todd Allen. So we look forward for you to join us in. Have a good afternoon. We'll see you next Wednesday.